Good afternoon, everyone. Some of you are still talking with your neighbors, but it is time for us to start the session. Lecture session hosted by Tokyo College, the Tokyo Toilet of Perfect Days. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'll be serving as the moderator today, and my name is Masashi Haneda, head of Tokyo College. There's been a number of lecture sessions hosted by Tokyo College, and I have served as a moderator in many of the occasions, but I have rarely longed for the day of the event as today. The movie Perfect Days that premiered just last month, I had an opportunity to see the film myself, and I don't know why, but I was largely moved by the film. And ever since I saw the movie, I have been wondering what Hirayama-san might be doing. Hirayama-san, who appeared in the movie. He has been on my mind, and I'm wondering it must be difficult for him to clean the toilets on a cold day like yesterday and today. But we will be hearing directly from the person who produced the film. So indeed, I am very excited about today. And this event is very international. Professor Jim Ramo of Princeton University and Chikuumeka-san, who is a postdoc researcher, served as an intermediary to this event. And when I first heard about this, since Chikuumeka-san is an expert in architect, I assumed without confirmation that it will be about the architecture of public toilets, rich in design. But I got it all wrong. It was about a series of wonderful projects of large scale. And the pinnacle was the film Perfect Days, which truly inspired me. And today we will be hearing everything from start of the project until the movie production and everything in between. So without further ado, let me introduce the speaker for today. This is Mr. Koji Yanai. And as you see on the slide, he is the director of the board and group senior executive officer of Uniqlo for fast retailing. That is his main business, but he is not speaking under that title. He is the project owner and fund provider of the Tokyo Toilet and the producer of the film Perfect Days. Over to you, Mr. Yanai.
Ladies and gentlemen, good day. I am Koji Yanai. It is indeed a great honor that I'm standing here in front of you. As the title says, the content of what I'm going to talk about has no finesse from the Tokyo Toilet. It was 2018 or 17 that I thought about it, but the completion, the actual making started in 2020. Now, why did I think that I was interested in involving in this movie? Haneda-san has talked very kindly for me, and then I'd like to talk about the background which led to the making of Perfect Days. If I have a little more time, afterwards, I will add some of my thoughts associated with the making of the film. Well, first of all, 3 minutes or so, I would like you to see the video, which was this trigger for me getting involved with the film making. So I would like you to see the video. It runs for 3 minutes or so.
Yes, I can suddenly Yes, I can. Gee, I'm afraid to go on has turned into yes, I can. Take a look, what do you see? 133 pounds of confidence in me. Got the feeling I can do anything. Yes, I can. Something that sings in my blood is telling me, yes, I can. I was just born today. I can go all the way, yes. I can. Yes, 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 I can. Hey, yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can!
Are you ready? I can climb Everest. Yes, I can. I can fight here all night and never rest. Yes, I can. I was just born today. I can go all the way. Yes, I can.
This is a video. I think it was in 2016 I saw this video for the first time. And then in 2012, London hosted Paralympic Games. The Paralympic Games, the London Games was the best one ever, and it was a lot of excitement. So in 2016, in Rio, Olympic and Paralympic Games were held, and British Paralympic team should be supported, and this video was made. So I happened to see this video. It's so stylish. Paralympians are portrayed in a very stylish way. I saw this film and I thought, Olympic Games, yes, you don't have to talk about it. There is excitement to begin with. But when it comes to Paralympic Games, it is after the festival, after the Olympic Games, less excitement. That is usually the Paralympic Games. That's the usual thought. So I thought that there is something that I can do to promote and build the excitement for the Paralympic Games. That was the beginning. Then in 2020, the Paralympic Games, Olympic and Paralympic Games would come to Tokyo. So rather than the games in London, I wanted people to talk about the Tokyo Paralympic Games with much excitement. I thought that it will be very meaningful. So the disabled people or Paralympians would be happy. I wanted to do something to please them. That was the first inspiration. In the beginning, the people with the inability would be able to use only, and the most advanced and the most sophisticated facilities and restaurants could be prepared. It's fantastic facilities, but you cannot use it unless you have disabilities. So the initial idea was creating something exclusively used by the disabled people. Ordinarily, you have a disability, and there are so many facilities you cannot use because of the disability. There are so many such facilities. But if you create some some facilities where people with a disability can only use. Then the people without disabilities would be able to share in the feeling of the people with the disability. I thought that the ordinary people will come to realize that sentiment. So that was the beginning thought. I wanted to create some facility which would be exclusively used by the people with disability. Then, one day, it happened more than 10 years ago. It was before I was working in fast retailing. I went to a bookstore in Gotanda with my father, and then LGBT featured, and that was the title of the book that I saw. Uniqlo is the apparel industry, and the market that we work is catering to the LGBTQ people. There are many people who are active in this domain. So I was not thinking anything special. I told my father, your company, Dad, do you have people belonging to this category? I asked this question. Then I thought that my father would say, yeah, let me think. But he said immediately, no, I hate this kind of thinking, he said, my father said. And I was stunned. I was shocked. I was really shocked. The true sense of what he wanted to say is that, as portrayed in this video, you have a personality, you have some characteristic. It's very important that you have a personality, very standing out personality. But things should be open to everybody. That is more important. People shouldn't be categorized as LGBTQ or non-LGBTQ. It is nonsensical. Every person is different in the world. Amongst L, there are many different Ls, and G has many Gs. You cannot lump them together in G or L. Categorizing people is not something that you shouldn't have. That's why my father said that he hated this idea. He began the brand Uniqlo. When he started, he was aware that there are many different people. In that way, everything is equal. Men and women with or without disabilities, Japanese, non-Japanese, irrespective of these differences, he wanted to have his brand accessible to everybody. He wanted to start. So categorizing people, don't think like that, my son, he said. He chided me, he scolded me. And I remembered that moment. Oh, I was thinking of something to create exclusively for the people with a disability. I wanted to create something nice. But that is categorization. It is reverse discrimination. It may cause reverse discrimination. That's what came to my mind. So I tried to change my direction. The things open to everybody. What are they? You are busy, you cannot have lunch, and you stayed through the night, and you completed your job. You sometimes miss your sleep, you sometimes miss your meal. Within a day, it happens. You miss the sleep, but you didn't go to toilet, not even once. Not even a day would pass without going into toilet. I came to realize that. That is toilet. So when it comes to toilet, men, women, or other sexual orientations, everything is common. It is open to everybody. In the toilet, public toilet is the most open facility. That should be. So the Tokyo Toilet project thus began. I came to think of that, and I wanted to do this. So I commenced my activities. So that was the process which led into the actual project. So I wanted to do something about it. You can start thinking you want to do it, but you have to have like-minded people. So I had to have partners who can work with me. So I began with that, and I was very lucky. First of all, as this slide says on the left-hand side, the Nippon Foundation, a very strong foundation, had a good understanding. This foundation had a social innovation agreement with Shibuya-ku in order to solve the social issues. They had the partnership agreement. So within this Shibuya-ku ward, maybe they can be involved with the renovation of public toilets as long as they stay within the Shibuya ward. So the entire coordination was done by the Nippon Foundation, very strong partner. So with them, we were able to promote the partnership. Shibuya administration, Shibuya city was very responsive, and the creators' creativity was never restrained, and they provided many assets for this project. They were a very important partner. From 2020, actual construction work began, but it was before the Olympic Games, so construction business was very busy, but the Daiwa House was very cooperative, and toilets were being created one after another, and then the toilet has to have the world first quality. So I asked the Toto sanitary company, in the case of public toilets, this didn't happen, but the shower toilets were equipped for all public toilets in this project. So universal toilet was the name given. So people with disability would find it easy to use the toilet. So Toto was cooperative in providing that facility. The facility, the challenge for public toilet is common, about 7, dark, dirty, smelly, scary, and women would refrain from using public toilets, or children and people with a disability will find it difficult to use. And then very important thing, when you are in an emergency, public toilet is there, but it's very difficult to find. So these are the challenges which had to be solved. So I have asked the creators and explained these challenges, 7 challenges, issues. This became the creative brief. As long as you solve these problems, whatever kind of designed toilet can be provided and created. So that was the explanation that I gave to the creators. These are the people, 16 creators who participated in this project. Architects, majority architects, but not only architects. Fashion designer is among them, art director is among them, or TV commercial creative director was one of them. And today, after my talk, there will be a discussion, and Dr. Pennington of Tokyo University also got involved. From different angles, we were able to approach this entire issue. I thought that this was a very good approach. So 7 issues, of course, as architects, such and such would be solution, but as a university professor, a different solution. And fashion designer would come up with different solutions. If different kinds of answers are given, the project would become very interesting. So I began project in that way. Professor Pennington, I asked him to join. The trigger for asking him to join was something I'm going to talk about. In the past, Dr. Pennington received an interview, and I happened to read that interview. And in one phrase of interview, Miles-san said that Japanese may not be suited to make innovation. That's what he said in the interview. One example he cited, rocket to go to outer space. Americans developed, Americans made it. Elon Musk has announced the project to go to outer space. I think that was the timing. So those things can be initiated by Americans and non-Japanese people. But those people who want to go to outer space by rocket, it's a very courageous thing, and that is done by Japanese. But the core innovation is more or less on the making rocket side. I think that's what he said in the interview. So when I read the interview, I thought so. Aha, I really thought so. So if I ask a question and ask him to do something, there may be interesting discovery from him. At Uniqlo, when a new product is developed, I had a problem. And when I was vexing about this problem, and I read this interview, so I thought that I went to him so that I can get some hints. What will make a new product? I asked him. That was the first encounter with Professor Pennington. As I listened to him, what I thought may be different. From mid-course, Miles-san, what about making toilet? I asked him. I changed the subject. What about making toilet? Maybe he was in a fix. He had a trouble, but he very agreeably responded to this question, and he joined with other people in developing new ideas and the new styles of toilets. Many people, I went to greet them. I have asked them to participate and entice them to participate in a Tokyo Toilet project. It was an exciting time for me. This is an unforgettable thing for me. So, through such projects, we now have 17 toilets within Shibuya City completed. So I will make a rough introduction. Ando Tadao made this toilet. Concept is that you can just fend off a rain. On the left-hand side, you have a lotus frog using a lotus flower to protect from rain. So this is the inspiration of wanting to protect yourself from rain. So there is a huge roof sticking out. It is a fantastic toilet that he made. This is made by Toyo Ito. Yoyogi Hachiman is close by. This is the toilet. This is at the hill, at the foot of the hill, a slope, and it is at the foot of the hill. And it's like a mushroom coming from the ground. Three mushrooms is the nickname of this toilet. This is made by Kengo Kuma. Recycled lumber is used for the cause of sustainability. The design takes in the concept of sustainability. And there are many different toilets. Now this one is that you can operate the toilet with your voice. Hi, toilet. You can call and then open the door, and then door opens, and please flow the water, and then the water will flow. That is the system. This is a relatively famous toilet. This has made this project famous, Shigeru Ban's idea. Normally, it is transparent, but once you lock it, the glass becomes smoky and you cannot see from outside. So this was the suggestion came from the architect. So we have 70 toilets, all of them. So I would like you to take back the guidebooks. The photographs of all those toilets are in the book, so please peruse them at your leisure.
And this was made by Professor Miles. Inside, there's a space inside. And actually, there is a sort of a pillar embedded, and inside could be used sort of as a community space. In other words, it's given a role outside of being a public toilet. Perhaps experts in architecture would not have come up with this kind of idea. And so when I saw this, asking someone from a different genre to be engaged with this project must have been a great idea. And I was very happy. And this is in Ebisu. The octopus installation is very famous, and it's called the Octopus Park. And Fumihiko Maki, who is the architect, designed this public toilet. And according to Mr. Maki, since the park is well known for the octopus sliders, he had an inspiration and created a toilet that looks like a white squid. I think he's about 91 years old in age, but he is full of humor, and I was very inspired by his works. On all four sides of the toilet, people can go inside, and according to Mr. Maki, the sound of the phrase "behind the toilet" makes people feel scary. And so in order to eliminate that feeling, he created the toilet so that there is no behind the toilet. There's always a way to go inside from which side you're on. And when I heard of that concept, I was also very inspired. And I'll be talking very briefly about this. The producer of the film was very much fond of this film, of this public toilet, of the fact that it can be accessed from different angles or from any angles. Maybe from the director's perspective, it might have been attractive because it could be filmed from different angles. And the fact that there is no back, no behind to the toilet that Mr. Maki pursued was something that was well understood and appreciated to the director, who was not familiar with the concept. And so I was again really inspired by Mr. Maki's toilet. So the toilet project was taken up by the media quite broadly in Japan, and I was very happy about that. But rather than in Japan, I think reaction overseas was quite strong. I think that was another feature of the toilet project. This is CBS This Morning Saturday video clip. And so it made me think, understand, oh, this is how Americans would react. And so please take a look at this.
Welcome back to CBS This Morning, Saturday. We begin this half hour with a new way of experiencing nature's call. Visitors and residents in Tokyo are flipping their lids, that's right, I said it, over the city's latest attraction. Lucy Kraft has that story.
Tokyo's hottest new destination isn't a swanky restaurant, nightclub, or museum. Set in local parks, the jewel-like cubes are tinted tangerine, pink, and purple, and shades of blue-green. These aren't just works of art, they're public bathrooms, with a feature not standard in most toilet stalls: see-through walls.
These are no ordinary plate glass windows, but so-called smart glass, used for privacy in hotels and offices. When the door is unlocked, an electric current unfogs the windows. When the door is bolted, the electricity is switched off, and the windows return to their frosted state.
See-through toilets were dreamed up by Pritzker Prize-winning architect Shigeru Ban.
I don't think it's crazy.
Visibility, he said, is one fix for public toilets, which have a reputation for filth and criminal activity.
You need the privacy when you are inside, but when you are outside, you like to find out this is clean and this is safe, right? So then it should be transparent.
3 times a day, cleaners in designer uniforms ensure the dazzling cubes pass the white glove test. The privately financed Tokyo Toilet Project is unveiling over a dozen artful public bathrooms, but none has raised eyebrows like these, said project manager Hayato Hanaoka. His reaction to the see-through restroom?
Okay, I was super surprised, to be honest. You never seen a transparent toilet.
Yet after operating for just a few weeks, users say seeing is believing. You can tell right away whether the stall is occupied or not. I really like that, said this neighborhood mom. The student said, going in, I was nervous, scared even, but it was fine. I recommend it. Architect Shigeru Ban decided not to copyright his minimalist public lavatory design. He's hoping to spark a transparent toilet wave around the world.
For CBS This Morning Saturday, Lucy Kraft, Tokyo.
So, as you saw in the video, people overseas really found interest in the Tokyo Toilet Project. More than in Japan, maybe. The image for public toilets must be really bad overseas, and wanting to use public toilets must not be an option for people living overseas more than in Japan. So since there was a lot of attraction in interest overseas, we thought that it might be a good idea to introduce the project overseas. And we engaged in several activities. Since there were many highly designed toilets, we decided to go to Milano Salone to talk about the project. And in a station in Milan, one public toilet in Milan was renovated, was refurbished, and this is inside. Daido Moriyama, the photographs were used in the interior, and Toto's washlet, shower toilet, was also installed. And the public toilet itself was turned into an art gallery-like situation. And that's what we did at the Design Expo Milano Salone. It was well received, and the people in Milan said that public toilet, well, there is Duomo in Milan, and below the station, below Duomo station, people knew that there must be a public toilet, but they didn't know where it was. But because of this installation, they were able to find out that there was actually a public toilet just below Duomo in the subway station. And this design with all the photographs on the walls have not finished, but Toto washlet, the shower toilet, has been donated. So if you have an opportunity to go to Milan, please go to the subway station below Duomo. And Moriyama-san, we went to the Paris Photo Exhibition, which is the largest photo exhibition in the world, and 60,000 people will come in just a matter of 4 days. And introducing a toilet project overseas, I thought was a wonderful idea. In pursuing our project, a phrase that I treasured and cherished most was a word from John Maeda-san. Design is a solution to a problem. Art is a question to a problem. This was a phrase that I cherished very much during my project. The design should be a solution to a problem, but if it's beautiful and if it's artistic, that's also something that could be provided in order for people to realize that there is a problem. And so I was wondering that both of this will be realized in my project. At first, Ando Tadao, Kuma Kengo, if I have those names, and if there are cool public toilets available, I had assumed and hoped that people will be using the public toilets in a cleanly way. But actually, that was not the case. It got dirty, and there are challenges on a daily basis. Even today, the public toilets are getting dirty. But why would people make public toilets dirty? Toilets at home, toilet in the office, in department stores, in service stations, or service areas on the highway. These are public toilets, but a lot of them, I think, are getting clean. But the toilets in public parks, or those toilets that could be referred to as public toilets, tend to get tainted. They are dirty. People don't take good care of them. There's, in the minds of people, there must be a line where these types of toilets should be used in a clean way, but others not. And I began to have a question mark on that mindset. The borderline should be removed so that all toilets should be used in a clean and a cleanly way. How can that be achieved? And that was when I approached Mr. Takuma Takasaki, who is a creative director at Dentsu. I had never collaborated professionally with Takasaki-san, but the TV commercials that he produced, I had been inspired by many of his works, so I had always wanted to be able to work together with him. So I went to Mr. Takasaki, and the first thing he said was that just having one toilet being wonderful and having high value, if you're going to create all 17 toilets, all 17 projects toilets should be recognized as remarkable toilets. Otherwise, changing the mindset of people as you want will not be easily achieved. That was Mr. Takasaki's advice to me. And I asked him, how can that be achieved? And he said that, for example, when people look at a beautiful artwork, art piece, why was it done and who created, that is not necessary information. If people are inspired by an artwork, they will no longer wonder who it was made by and for what purpose. That's the power of art. So use the power of art to move people's hearts and minds. That is what he suggested. That was his proposal. That was his advice. And I was wondering, what do we mean by using the power of art? And over the next few months, I had met with Mr. Takasaki on a regular basis, and we discussed about this over and over. And as we went through this process, well, there are 17 toilets. Creating a theme song for each of the toilets and announce an album, release an album to move people's hearts and minds with beautiful music. I said that, and Mr. Takasaki said, "Oh, that's interesting. So maybe we should give some thought to that." And Takasaki-san got involved in thinking, and he said, just creating an album and releasing songs. We are at a time when CDs don't sell very well, so people might not listen to those songs. So Koji-san, how about calling it the Tokyo Toilet and say that there was a film, a hypothetical situation, that there was a hypothetical film, and say this was a soundtrack of the film. And if you release that album, people might wonder, oh, was there such a film? And it might be easy for us to surprise people. So that could be a good hypothetical situation. And that's how we moved forward. But this story was so interesting and so inspiring for everyone that it turned out not to be hypothetical, but to become a real movie, a real film. And Takasaki-san said that we were just assuming that a film was created, but the soundtrack was going to be created for a hypothetical film. That was the crust of it. There's no point in really creating a film. But I said, okay, let's forget about the music because the film sounds more interesting and more fun. So why don't we talk about the film? And that's how our discussion, our thinking shifted more towards film. Of course, even I understood that it's not easy to create a movie, and so we started by thinking about creating a short movie, wanting to announce and releasing it to a small group of people, and we said, who should direct it, who should appear, and Takasaki-san asked a lot of questions, and I had to answer those questions. As for me, I wanted to think of ways to keep the toilets clean, so I wanted to have a short movie focusing on a cleaner. So and then the next question was who should be the cleaner, and I said someone like Yakusho Koji might be wonderful. And Takasaki-san was holding his head and said, of course, everyone would find that interesting. But then he asked me who should be the film director and what should be the scale of the film to disseminate to the general public. He asked me this question. And I said, oh, it should be a big bang, with a big bang. It was kind of difficult to understand what you mean by big bang, so can you elaborate, he said. And I said, Spielberg, for example, being the film director, that would make people excited. And Tarantino, for example, what would you think? Don't you agree, Takasaki-san? I said. And he said, yeah, of course. So that was a kind of conversation that I have had with Takasaki-san and myself. And the film director that we both like were the same, Mr. Wim Wenders. And in the proposal document by Takasaki-san, on the very last page, there was a material on Mr. Wenders. And I looked at that document, and I also said that among these, I like him. And Takasaki-san said, I agree. I like him too. And why don't we ask him to be the film director? If he rejects, that's fine. Why don't we just offer him? And well, that's how it all started. And we sent a letter. I sent a letter, and we landed on Mr. Wenders. So Wim Wenders taking a film in Japan, even if it's not a full, proper 2 hours movie, it could be a short movie, and Yakusho Koji going to be the main actor, no one will reject such a beautiful offer, Mr. Wenders said. And so it was really remarkable that we got the green light from Mr. Wenders and Mr. Koji Yakusho, from both of them. I'm very grateful for this. For those of you who have not been able to see the film yet, this is a trailer.
映画の中では
In the film, very monotonously, it shows the day in the life of the cleaner. It doesn't show the challenges the cleaner will experience in a day as we initially expected or wanted to show. It's not about that. The film was created with the intention of featuring the cleaners, but it doesn't really talk about the challenges that they experience. So I think, and it was, I think, well received, which I'm very grateful for. And I have had numerous conversations, dialogues with Mr. Vendors, and this is what he said. I actually asked him a question. Looking at your visuals, I could go on and on and on watching your movies, and I was asking him, why do you think so? And this is what he said as his answer. Ozu Yasujiro, Kurosawa, film directors in Japan, and all the famous, well-known film directors around the world, he sort of absorbed their capabilities so that he can pass it on to the next generation. And he is therefore learning a lot from the past and interpreting with his own capabilities. So to bring it to the future. And after he said this phrase, he smiled at me, saying that I think I said something nice. And this was taken in the United States when the film was released in the United States, and there was a photograph of them pretending like Hirayama-san in the film, looking up in the sky. So he always has this sense of humor. So I will be spending the last few minutes to talk about my thinking about the film. Providing maintenance and cleaning, for me, is very important. Cleaning, or especially the word maintenance, I think has two meanings. One is to amend and repair something that has been broken, so physical maintenance, and the other is emotional maintenance. If we don't do anything about the project, without any maintenance, the project will be forgotten. But if we create some news and also send out information that the project is still live, that could help maintain. So I think that is very important, especially for emotional maintenance. That is the area where I want to be engaged in. One of which is the Tokyo Toilet book, which was distributed to you today. The photographer, Yoko Takahashi, supported me, and she took photographs of all 70 toilets. I love her photographs. Unimportant scenes of daily lives appear in her works, and she shows the lights in those scenes in a beautiful way. I hope I don't sound condescending, but that's how I view her photographs. And in taking the photographs of the public toilets, it's an architecture to a certain extent, but public toilets can only be valuable if it is used by people. So maybe people don't appear in the photographs, but I wanted the photographs to give that sense of warmth, as if people are using those toilets, and that is why I asked her to take photographs. So I hope you will take a look at the guidebook, the booklet, and share my feeling. John Maeda's design, I said that art design is a solution to a problem in art. But for me, my interpretation is that when both are achieved at the same time, that's when something that is called innovation is created. In other words, something that could change people's mind will happen. So whether it be the film or this guidebook or initiatives by Milano Salone or Mr. Bond's initiatives, something that is beautiful, something that could be disruptive, that could But if you understand and hear about the thinking behind, it might be convincing, and I'm hoping that it would change people's mind as well. So design is a solution to a problem, and art is a question to a problem. Maybe Hirayama-san, who appears in the movie as a cleaner, even without people like him, maybe we will be able to realize a world where public toilets are kept clean, even with such people. Maybe we still have more challenges to be addressed, but I'm hoping that I could be of some support to realize such a world. Thank you for your kind attention.
Yanai-san, thank you very much. Your presentation was very clear and easy to understand. We now understand the total picture of this project as a whole. Now we have 3 commentators who will present their comments regarding Yanai-san's presentation. Professor Pennington and Takahashi-san, as mentioned, and one more person is Ms. TAKAOKA Manami, who is the special assigned associate professor of Tokyo University. Takaoka-san is coming from the nursing field for the elderly people. In the very beginning, the people with disability must be cared, and there are certain issues, and she will be able to talk about it. So first of all, Ms. Takaoka, please, floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me today. Very well-known, widely known people are here today, and so you might be wondering who I am, but it's a great pleasure to be here. So this is what I want to talk about today from the perspective of public restrooms supporting social continence. I have a question to you. Have you heard of the term social continence? Social continence refers to the ability to live socially, autonomously, being able to stand on your own feet, even if one has difficulty with excretion. In my opinion, it can be translated as being able to go out safely without worrying about excretion. And what I would like to share with you today is that public toilets, public restrooms play a very important role in social continence. Let me briefly introduce myself. As was kindly introduced earlier, I am currently conducting research in nursing at the University of Tokyo. And my research theme is care for excretion of the elderly. Through my research, I would like to create a world in which all elderly people can excrete comfortably by both preserving their dignity and reducing the burden of care. My background is in nursing, and when I was working as a nurse in a hospital, there were days when patients, especially those who are bedridden, had diarrhea due to poor adjustment of laxatives and enemas, and I had to spend most of the day treating the stool and changing patients' bedding and clothing of the patients. We had to change the patient's bedding and clothing, which was really uncomfortable for the patients as well. And that is how I had started to think about this research theme. I am still a novice researcher, but I am very passionate about my research and excretion. And so I know I am surrounded by very highly and well-known people, but I'm very happy to be able to participate in this event. So returning to my main topic, I want to discuss with you the role of public toilets so that people can go out safely without worrying about excretion. So have you ever been aware of how many processes are involved in the act of excretion in the toilet? At least, you need to feel the urge to urinate or have a bowel movement. You have to go to the toilet and enter the private toilet booth and lock the door, recognize the toilet bowl, and move to the right position, put down your underwear, sit on the toilet bowl, urinate or defecate, wipe and clean, and stand up, put on your clothes, stand up, put on your clothes, flush the toilet, move to the door, unlock the door, and exit the toilet booth. This is just a rough list of the processes involved. If a person has difficulty in any of these processes, they will not be able to go out with a peace of mind. So I want to share with you some examples of difficulties in defecation. For example, for those who are living with disease related to urination or excretion, public restrooms have a very important role. I'm going to tell you my personal story. I have a disease called irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. There are various types, but I am the type that tends to have diarrhea. And like today, I'm very nervous, so I am suffering from diarrhea. And I'm sure there are people like me. And for people like myself, being able to know beforehand where the restroom is before I leave my house is very important. Another example is for those who go out with children or those who are using a stroller, having a public restroom, I think, is very important. Having a spacious private room or barrier-free restroom in a public restroom, this can create a great sense of security. The child would say, "Toilet, I can't stand it, I can't wait." And the parent will have to go to the toilet together with the child. And if the environment, if there is a public restroom available, that must be very helpful. And as we are entering a hyper-age society, of course, there are very active elderly people, but some elderly people suffer loss of motor functions or cognitive functions. And for those people with enlarged prostate and has frequent urination, they could have problems. Or people with dementia could be suffering from problems. And people with dementia might forget locking the toilet and the washlet, the shower toilet buttons. There are many buttons, and they get lost and confused which buttons to push and so forth, and forget to flush. And the wife might have to wait outside the men's restroom looking worried, and other people nearby would look at the wife with a strange face. So, as was mentioned earlier, having a barrier-free, accessible toilet in the public restroom, that would allow the wife to take care of her husband with a peace of mind. So having a barrier-free toilet, I think, is also very important. And also for ostomates, to have a barrier-free environment is extremely significant. An ostomate is a person who has had stoma, which is an artificial anus or artificial bladder surgically constructed in the stomach due to various diseases or accidents. They need facilities such as a faucet to wash their stoma, appliance in order to remove stool and urine that have accumulated in the stoma that temporarily receives excretions. So it's very important that restrooms have barrier-free toilets. And since this is a great opportunity, I want to say that the ostomates are not visually obvious. And so they look like an abled person. And if they go to a barrier-free toilet, people might be looking at them with an expression of accusation, wondering why the person is going to a barrier-free toilet. I think it's important that we understand properly and taking care of people using these different types of toilets. And this time, sorry, I'm so nervous. Anyone being able to excrete with a peace of mind. It's important for all of us to understand the challenges, the difficulties of excretion. In the movie, the people's attention was on the cleaner, but the public toilet is an important place that has to be taken good care of, not only by the cleaners, but also by everyone who are users of the public toilet. And this is a statement of my determination for the future as a researcher. In 2025, on the site of a former branch hospital of the University of Tokyo in Mejiro-dai in Bukoku, Tokyo, a regional healthcare hub will be created and will consist of our global nursing research center for nursing and medical and healthcare facilities. It will have open space of the Global Nursing Research Center, and there will be restrooms and universal toilets. It should not be a place just for excretion toilets. For example, it should be used as a place where people have better understanding of excretion to care for toilets together with the local community so that the social continence of everyone can be realized. But toilets are expensive, so I count on you for your donations. I am sending out a very enthusiastic eyes on all of you. So finally, excretion, as was mentioned by Mr. Yanai, is one of the essential activities of human beings, sleeping, eating, and excreting. And the examples were from Shibuya, but a town with beautiful, clean, and comfortable public restrooms might be a town where all people, whether they have difficulties in excretion or not, can excrete comfortably and easily. With that, I want to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Takaoka. Continuing on, I will call upon Professor Miles Pennington. So he has made one of the 17 toilets. He is a professor of University of Tokyo Institute of Industrial Science. His special field is design and innovation. He will be speaking in English.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and good afternoon, everybody. Yes, my name is Miles Pennington, and I help to run a very interesting initiative at the University of Tokyo called the Design-Led X Platform. We were greatly honored by Yanai-san to become part of the Tokyo Toilet Project, and I want to tell you a little bit about the story of the design story, how that happened. But maybe before I do that, I'd just like to give a little bit of my background. So I run the Design-Led X Design Lab inside the University of Tokyo, and it's a creative studio, kind of disruptive space. Our job is to work with researchers to try to create value and create new innovations from university research. And we are super lucky to be embedded in a very interesting research institute called the Institute of Industrial Science. It has people looking at future of bioengineering, making synthetic meat or synthetic skin, looking at making submarines that move autonomously under the water, 10,000 meters, quantum computing, semiconductors, so many interesting things that would be amazing to bring into society and make new ideas happen. So our job is to work together with them. We're an international team, so we have people from Japan and from Israel and France and Germany and China. The idea being many different diverse thinkers bring many different ideas to our projects. So it's very important to us to have an interesting mix of people. And we have a number one rule, which is every project we do is in collaboration. So we're not trying to be another lab simply creating our own work. There are many wonderful labs like that already. Our job is to reach out, to find out what is happening across the university. We call it treasure hunting, to be honest. The treasures are the researchers' work. We try to find those treasures and through design process, create new ideas that could be of benefit to society. And yes, as you know, we were invited by Yanai-san to become one of the team to make a toilet. I still feel incredibly humbled. I always describe this project as 15 incredible famous people and DLX. You know, it's like there are people on this board who, when I was a student, I looked up to. I bought their books. I wanted to be like them. So I still don't feel, at their level, of course, but it was an incredible opportunity for us as a team to design a toilet. So let me tell you how we went about it. This is the site we were giving. It's in Hatagaya. It's a really classic, was a really classic old-style toilet. Not very popular. You know, it was everything that Yanai-san described. Maybe the most common users were taxi drivers, quick stop-off, comfort break, using this toilet. But actually, the site is really interesting. It's really busy crossing. Hatagaya itself is a kind of upcoming, cool, cultural place that's, I think, is going to be the next Shimokitazawa. You know, watch out for it. So what do we do? First step, as in all good design, you have to understand the problem. You know, so we got out there, we watched who's using the toilet, we tried to talk to people, we talked to the local community groups, people in cafes, trying to understand what's going on, what are the issues, you know, what's interesting about this place, and just fill our minds with inspiration about this site. And then, being designers, you start to brainstorm. So we created lots of little, embryonic ideas, hundreds, literally. And a part of that process, we invited university students and researchers and other staff members into workshops. We asked them to create the most amazing toilet. So they drew ideas, they made models. It looks like child's play, but actually this is a really fundamental core part of creativity. Allow your imagination to create a new idea. And we must have created, I think, 50 really interesting ideas that all somehow resonated with the site. But the concept that we decided to move forward with kind of grew from this little sketch. We called it Alpha Space originally, and it was the idea of not just creating a toilet, but an alpha space, another space next to it that had some attraction, some meaning to the community or the local area that would make the entire space much more interesting and much more popular. Of course, that's just a little doodle, so we spent a lot of time trying to explore this idea. We went to see community groups a lot and asked them, if you had a toilet plus another space, what would you want it to be? And there are all kinds of ideas here, from a kind of waiting room for people waiting for the bus or for their friends, co-working space even. Maybe, this is COVID was upon us, and we thought plenty of people are looking for a place to work, or a gallery, or a coffee shop. So we talked to a lot of people to explore what the idea could be. At this stage, 2 of the team members were very lucky to have Imai Sensei and and Homa Sensei, really skilled architects, they did a lot of the heavy lifting now because we have to convert a concept into a real building. Again, the process is really creative. The team created lots of little model ideas to explore, how could you have two spaces, a toilet plus another space, not just simply putting two blocks together. And this was the final kind of architectural concept. We'll show photos of how it works later, but the basic principle was the space. The alpha space was very large, open, welcoming space, kind of like an open atrium. So you could walk into this space and be surrounded by just the volume and see out of it really clearly. And then the toilets themselves would be on each of the walls, so you could access different toilets in each of the different wall spaces. A key part of it was a bench design. So we wanted the use to be flexible, so people in the future, the community, can figure out how to use the space. So the team created this bench, which was a wooden bench that could be removed with these pillars that popped up and down, like you see in road bollards. And the idea was you could set the place up maybe for a community meeting. So the benches would be in a kind of semicircle, or they could be staggered and scattered around, and the place could actually be a gallery. So, students or artists or anyone could put their work on display as a kind of public observation. Or even, and the media loved this one, is it could be turned into like a mini cinema. And, actually we need to play Perfect Days there one day, actually. That makes perfect sense. The next step after the concept making was, of course, the final build. So we ended up calling our toilet ... with toilet. So to try to capture the idea, it was a space with a toilet, so that the community could make and drive forward into their own, use it in their own way in the future. So this is the amazing building that finally came out. Daiwa House did an amazing job to create it. I have to say, it's very near where I live, and on the way to go shopping, I sometimes call in there, and it's staggering to see the change. The old toilet, was not visited very much. This space is now, kids love running through it. Parents can drop in, sit on the benches and wait. Even if they're not using the toilet, even when there's nothing special happening there, it's a place for the community to gather. And still attracts people to say, what on earth is this space? They don't automatically understand its purpose. But maybe that's good, because in the future they can rethink it. This is a view from inside. It's lovely to watch the people going by. Actually, I'll go back one. One of the lovely aesthetic discoveries was the pillars that support the benches reflect the sunlight onto the walls. So you see the little ringlets, which wasn't on purpose. Some of the best things about design are accidental. This is the vertical view, and a night view as well. So it was a very long journey, and it took an amazing amount of effort from the team. For us, it's a collaboration. It's really important that students, researchers, and professional architects were all involved in the creative process. So we feel a deep honor and satisfaction with making it. After it was built, I was waiting keenly for Yanai-san's response, and late at night he went to visit it, and he said, "This is not a toilet. This is a community center." So I feel that was a stamp of approval. But I did wonder for a while, does he like it? I don't know, it's not a toilet, but I hope so. So yeah, mission accomplished, I say. And then what's next? It was fantastic to be involved in this toilet project. I have to say, as an international visitor to Japan, it's amazing that there are public toilets, because if you come from the UK, the problems that Manami sensei talked about are really problematic. There aren't public toilets, and especially over COVID, more and more have closed. So I really hope that this project will inspire other people around the world, local authorities, to really think carefully about this basic human need. Many people, it stops people enjoying their life if you can't have access to basic public communities. So Thank you very much, Yanai, for inviting us into this project. We're deeply honoured, and thank you very much for listening today. I look forward to talking later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Third person, commentator, Ms. Yoko Takahashi. As was explained in the presentation, she is traveling around the world, and she has taken wonderful photographs around the world. A well-known photographer. So, Ms. Takahashi, the floor is yours.
Good day. I am Yoko Takahashi, photographer. There was a kind introduction about me. This time around, I think you have these booklets. I was in charge of taking pictures for this book. Before this idea came, I had no knowledge about this project, but thanks to your support, I was being asked to be part of it, and I am able to make this such a wonderful thing. I'm so happy. In taking pictures, this is awesome. In Shibuya City, 17 gorgeous places are going to be built, and I was so impressed. As was mentioned before me, the fact that we have something in Tokyo, it means that we can communicate to the rest of the country and we can communicate to the rest of the world. Tokyo has a ability to communicate. So I thought there was a big significance in having some construction like this. Of course, toilets can be arts as architectural and as a landmark. It's wonderful. But the significance of that being in Tokyo, I thought about it. How do they stand in Tokyo? Including all of that, I wanted to embrace them into my picture. That's how I got involved with this project. What is the city like of Tokyo? Tokyo is a mixture of many things. 11 million people live. How to put it? I can't find words. In 2023, at the end of summer, I believe it was, I took pictures. So at that time, the scenery of Tokyo was something that I wanted to include in the book, and the memory should be recorded solidly. That's my intent, and that is contained in the book. For example, sometimes a picture has a bus, and it was a hot day in 2023, so it's a memory of hot day. And then in some years going forward, we will not have the trains running above our head, and the delivery trucks, people are running, delivery trucks are running, Tokyo-like pictures. The commuter rush, this is Ebisu train, Ebisu station. This is very typical of Tokyo. So personally, this is the image of Tokyo, so I took picture like this, Ebisu station. This is nighttime, toilet during nighttime. It's scary thing, but this is reverse of that. This is a place where you can feel at ease. That is how I felt. So I wanted to take picture at night. So I picked this picture. And then toilets in the park. As Dr. Pennington's toilet is another example, and Octopus Park toilet, I love it. And then I never thought that squid toilet would be made, and it was only 4 days before that I realized that this is a squid. I didn't know that. But anyway, in taking pictures, I wanted to leave record. So it is like a documentary. But pictures, unlike a video, pictures do not have much information, so the viewer will have the sense of fantasy and imagination, and then they can decipher what they say in their eyes. So I wanted to have pictures with a space, blank space, so that people can imagine. In the case of Octopus Park, I love this place, so I had my own imagination. So octopus's eye line, the viewing line is engaged. And the octopus never imagined that the squid would appear in front of them, so that may have shocked them. But anyway, when I saw this, I was shocked. I thought it was a spaceship of some kind. But when it stands in Tokyo, it doesn't look strange. It's no strange to have spacemen. So there is no sense of incongruity in Tokyo when we have something very strange. It is possible in Tokyo. And if you read the afterword of the book, I will read. Mr. Yanai says, in the early days of the project, whenever I saw the completed toilet, I was a bit uneasy, wondering if the city scenery had been ruined. However, as people continued to use these new facilities, they gradually became a part of the city, which I wasn't sure it would happen. So I was it was very gratifying. So I think I was able to participate in this project, sharing in the same emotion and same feeling. Now, as I pictured toilets, I thought about it. As was mentioned by other commentators, toilets usually are in a shady place, somewhere behind, somewhere you can't find it, and dark and scary. But regarding these toilets, they stand out. They stand out in the good sense of the word. So take picture because we exist here. They are saying proudly. So while I was taking pictures, many people were using it, and I was able to see who they are using these places. The creators are famous people, so you can find out who they are, but the users, they are not known. So usually the cleaners, sometimes you can see the cleaners working. So it's a kind of deja vu with this toilet. So the people using it have that they are being viewed, and this may lead into the change of awareness and recognition. So, being this and that, the cleaner work there, and we see them very frequently. While I was taking this picture, when I took this picture, I saw this person. He was cleaning this place. And I've met some cleaners, but I thought this person was different. And his uniform was faded, and then he had many keys in chain, and he was on his knees, and he was almost licking the floor and cleaning the floor. So, and he was so kind, and I will wait before you take pictures and so forth. Sincerity, I could see. So cleaners, they clean to the hilt. I was so surprised at their perfection. And then after that, Perfect Days, I saw the movie completed, and then oh really, the cleaner I was talking about, I listened to him, and that person, actually this person in the picture, was the advisor to the Yakusho Koji Hirayama. He gave advice to Yakusho-san to create the personality of Hirayama. He was the person who gave advice. So when I saw the film, when I was watching Yakusho, he was I felt like I was watching a documentary of an actual cleaner cleaning the toilets. Wim Wenders' movies, I like them, and the old ones, I watch them. Road movie, and the videos, images are shown casually, but he is also a fantastic photographer. So he can cut out moments. I shouldn't sound condescending, but he is very good at cutting out moments. And then they are connected skillfully, and then music is added, and the video is created. So in this movie, Hirayama, a man called Hirayama, takes pictures. I was stunned. I was shocked. He is a routine kind of person. He follows routine, but every day he takes picture of something. And then it is multiplied, it is connected, and then just like his own life, each single picture can be seen, and it looks like a movie. His life turns into a movie. Am I right? It was a very strange kind of feeling. I was shocked by this sensation. It was a fantastic movie, and if you haven't seen it, please go to the theater and watch it. What was I going to say? Come to think of it, cleaner. So I met this cleaner person, so Perfect Days has become a special movie to me. After seeing that movie, I'm reminded of the cleaner, what kind of apartment house that he lived in, and I really imagine many things about this person. So I will go back to the book about Tokyo Toilet. Today you are given the two versions of books. I hope that you will keep them 10, 20 years. And then in 10 years and 20 years ahead, you look into the picture of Tokyo, then you will find some changes. And then you will find that the toilets were so pretty, so clean, or you may say that the toilets are still clean, or your awareness about Tokyo toilet could be changed, and you can sense you can really sense the change happening in yourself about toilets. So I hope that you will keep this book for 20 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the four speakers are going to come up on the stage once again for roundtable. Please give us some time to arrange the stage. And actually, we're pressed with time. We are running behind schedule, and so I don't know to what extent we're able to take questions from the floor, but as much as possible, I am hoping to take questions or comments from the floor. So why don't we start the roundtable discussion? We have limited time, so I want to be brief. Now that we've received comments from three commentators, I would like to ask Mr. Yanai to respond briefly to all three of them, starting with Takaoka-san's comments. Yes, from what you've said in your comments, what I thought was important is that I was involved in the toilet project and the film project, and I felt that respecting dignity as human beings, I thought was a common thread. It's very important, but it is very difficult at the same time. Toilet, if people are able to use toilets in a comfortable manner, maybe we are able to realize that respect for dignity. I did not think about that before I started the project. I just wanted toilets to be clean, but at the end of the day, it goes all the way to talking about respecting dignity, and I felt really honored to receive that comment. And Professor Miles, actually, in the course of the discussion, I took part in the discussion, and I have fond memories looking at the presentation. Your classes, your lectures were really full of fun, interest, and there were students who wanted water to flow like a fall, and I said, no, that should not happen. But there were people who were really fond of those ideas. And at the end of the day, the project or your idea ended with the form that you just described. But what caught my attention was that you're doing this as an academic field, which caught me really by surprise. But having fun in creating the film, the film director Yakusho-san were always having an enjoyable time, and Miles-san, your classes were full of humor, full of laughter, and you created a wonderful toilet. So I thought there was also a common thread. And Yoko-san, your photographs, I briefly mentioned in my own presentation, but your photographs give a sense of people's existence and stories behind it, which I am very much fond of. It's not that all your photographs are like that way. It's just because you took those photographs. But I think you have that intention when you take your photographs, and your personality is reflected in your photographs. That is why we feel warmth in your photographs. And I am so happy that I asked you to take those photographs to all three of you. Thank you very much.
Now, any response from the three commentators? Commentators' comments, please, to Yanai-san's comment. I am so humbled. Well, any discussion amongst the commentators, three of you? You may have questions or comments regarding each one's presentations. Any comment? Yes, please. I have a question to Yoko-san. When you take pictures, you said that cut out a moment. That's why I really felt so natural. It was just the scenery that I see usually, and I had no sense of discontinuity. If you can you talk about the special awareness in taking pictures? This time, no, I have nothing in particular. But as I said in my comments, I wanted to take a picture of Tokyo. And this is going to be in Shibuya City, so Hachiko bus cannot be excluded. I was aware of that. But Dr. Pennington's presentation pictures were so cool. So I was wondering whether my pictures were on par with his works. His architecture was so cool. So my Hachiko picture wasn't that level. But anyway, I wanted to include the scenery that I wanted to include. I took picture in the morning. If morning light is very good, the light is very important in photography. For sometimes I wait for half an hour, but it was fun. It was fun. I am looking toward toilets, but there are so many people, taxi drivers or construction workers, and just watching them going there, it was fun. And I know I'm not answering your question, but that's how I felt and what I felt.
Yeah, maybe just a quick comment. So, Yoko-san, it felt like listening to you talk was hearing the background research to Perfect Days, and I think that's what's special about a good photographer, actually. They captured like true life. I think that some of as a designer, we take photos, but you're just trying to make an object look beautiful. That's it. But as a photographer, you're trying to capture life. And so the same feeling I had when I was watching Perfect Days, which is a lovely immersion film, is listening to you talk about your photographs. So thank you very much for that. And then Manami Sensei is like, on the other side, this is such a interesting pair of people to be with today, because such serious research. It's like your confidence and passion about what you do is like incredibly important. It's an awkward subject to research, and it would be lovely to talk more about a collaboration. I'm inspired by today, so lovely to meet you.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Pennington said collaboration. Listening to your remarks, what really hit me strong was the word collaboration. Without collaboration, this project could not have been held. And the collaboration, unexpected collaboration, would brought in success into this project. It was quite impressive. Now, cutting out a moment, now the time is very important element and word. Now, 2023, cutting out. Or 30 years, 40 years, it will be different. But you wanted to cut out the Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games in Tokyo, so the time is very relevant. So project was formed in line with the time. So I have a question, Yanai-san. Going forward, so time elapses, and collaboration, how would it evolve? Would it lead into more fantastic, more wonderful collaboration? Or very genuine, very unique, creative collaboration? Do you have any ideas or a sense about the future possible collaboration? I'm not the kind of person having a wealth of collaboration ideas, so I have nothing in mind right now. But perhaps purpose. If the purpose is filmmaking, you want to make film. But we didn't want to. This project was not wanting to make a film. If I wanted to create a film, if that was the project, then amateur Yanai would not have been commended so highly. There is no way that I can make such a fantastic picture. The main purpose was to look into the cleaner's life. I wanted to do something. I wanted to reward them with something so that the toilets could be used cleanly. And what can I do to keep the toilets clean? And one methodology, one means to achieve that was a film. So the original purpose is important. You have to have a solid original purpose, and then the means will come out of that original purpose, and then it was commended highly. It was very I was very fortunate. So the idea was interesting. I think interesting idea becomes a purpose. So the moment you do that, you will realize your limit of yourself. So purely, you want to have a world better, dirty toilet. Of course, it's better to have clean toilet rather than dirty toilets. So this is something that you wanted to do. This is something that you wanted to realize, and then means to achieve that was accidentally films. So I think that is how I approach at this question. So what I have to do is to purely pursue the original objective without oscillating from the original position, and then I continue what I originally thought. That's most important. If you ask me, is there anything you have in mind? No, I don't have anything in mind. But there are issues and challenges in the world, so I will continue.
Asking to the three of you, do you have any specific ideas or proposals as to how this project to be proceeded as a next step? Yes, please. It's not that much of a proposal per se, but as was mentioned, just creating the toilets is not the end of it. I completely agree with that. We, as users, our mindsets, our behavior, actions, how to approach that. I think the film was an entry point, was a gateway. What will be the next way forward? That could be collaboration. Maybe we can work together to think what could be the next step. I would be happy to be involved.
Maybe this is specific to the toilet that we created, but our mission was to create a space for activities. So we always thought that after the construction, that's when actually another phase of the project work begins, which is we have to use this space now. So that for us is actually the next step, is let's use the space. But actually, I want to say one other thing. As Yanai-san was talking, I just realized a really important fact. It's like he's incredibly modest about this project. He's not a toilet builder, he's not a filmmaker, but he's done an amazing job. And it reminds me of one important thing in innovation is there's a phrase, find the person who doesn't know it can't be done, And I think this is a great example. Yanai-san is not from this sort of background, has pulled off this amazing project. That is an innovative step. So I'm looking forward to the next innovation project that pops into Yanai-san's head that he doesn't know can't be done.
Dr. Pennington, the toilet space, is it actually being used already today?
Not yet, to my shame, but that we found some new inspiration in today's mission. We have to do something. That was the whole point. So yeah, we need to kickstart those activities.
Thank you for that.
Takahashi-san, is there anything you want to say? Is there anything? Well, I hope that many people will take pictures and put it on their SNS so that the information becomes viral. People want to take pictures of something clean, so I hope that the toilets will remain clean. I don't know. The SNS doesn't have any information about this? Yes, many people uploaded that, but not to the quality of Yoko-san's picture. I don't know how to say it. Cutting out the moment, cutting out the instance, the moment, capturing a moment. Actually, it existed, but it was not seen, something. But the pictures make things visible. If you don't pay attention, you don't know that buses are running by or there are cleaning people working. You don't realize that they exist, but they are not visible. But Yoko-san takes pictures of such fantastic quality, and then it becomes visualized. That is very important. And because of that, people realize, and they come with a new discovery. So this is the fantastic power of photography. So looking at the Yoko-san's picture, I felt it. So SNS, that's very important, but you have to feel something from the photograph. You have to be able to see something new from the pictures. If that happens, I'll be happy.
Thank you very much. As it is time, I would like to conclude the session. Tokyo College has collaborations in-house, externally, and interdisciplinary, and also with the society. It's a new organization that we've been working for the past 5 years. Film, actually this was the very first time, and the toilet was also another new topic for us, but this is the kind of interesting collaboration that we want to pursue going forward. If there's anything, any ideas, any proposals from you, please feel free to come to us. Thank you all very much for joining us today.